What's up, guys? Welcome to the Linecheck podcast. Today in the studio, I have Nico De Leon.
Hello.
He works at this place called Lasita. He's a chef there, and I also work there with him. I've been working with him for about 5 years, and today he's in my podcast.
What an honor.
Yeah.
Full circle. Feels crazy.
Yeah, I mean, usually I'm hang out with you about like 35 hours a week.
Yeah.
So it's funny to have you here on a day off on the podcast.
It's also nice to be in this part of town.
Yeah.
I'm rarely in Long Beach, unfortunately, so
Yeah.
it's nice to check the scene out here.
Yeah. How was your day today?
It was nice. Family and I kind of got over a little bit of sickness. Down with the sickness.
You know, it's funny. I'm pause right there. But before Saturday's service, we weren't there, but we were listening to Down with the Sickness by Disturbed. And then Chase walked in, the other owner of Lasita, and he was trying to talk to Fred about something. And he couldn't focus because that song was and he's like, you can't listen to me seriously when I'm here. Whoa, come on, to get down.
There's a couple of things that I feel like I do really well in my mind, and then when I try to do them out loud, they don't come out as cool as I thought they did in my mind.
Yeah.
One of them is the ooh ah.
Yeah.
In my mind, I'm like, dude, you fucking rock at that, and then I do it. I'm like, you suck at that. The other thing is the Cardi B. Kaylee always makes fun of me. Oh, Kurt. I feel like I could do. I feel like I could do it really well, and then I do it. I don't do it really well. Sorry.
That's same as me.
Yeah.
Anyways, yeah. So, what were we talking? Oh yeah.
My day. Yeah.
Is gone.
Yeah. So we're down with the sickness, and then we kind of had been planning this day, but loosely, and then we got sick, so we were like, it's not gonna happen. But then this morning we all felt better, so we were like, let's go to the aquarium. One of my nephews works there now. Shout out Christian, but we've been wanting to go to the aquarium now that we have a baby girl, and we said, fuck it, let's go. And we went, and it was cool. It was that was my first time. Embarrassing to say, but yeah, it was tight. There's a 90 billion other families there. Yeah. I got to touch a jellyfish or two, which I feel really bad for. I saw one that had there was a hole in it. I don't know if that was from a casualty or something, but it was cool. It was really awesome.
Sounds like a nice Sunday.
Yeah, and it was warmer in Long Beach than I had expected it to be.
Yeah, it's pretty hot today.
Yeah.
I feel like we're in Florida right now.
Yeah.
It's pretty humid here.
Totally.
So anyways, it's weird having you here because we talk a lot.
Yeah, I know.
And we work together. So it's like, what do we talk about for our audience? You know what I mean?
Right. I'm sorry.
Because we know so much about each other.
I know. It might be boring.
Yeah,
we'll see.
Who knows? But anyways, so when did you start cooking?
Professionally in 2010. 2010? Yeah, I think 2010, I guess I would say, because that's when I graduated from Le Cordon Bleu, Pasadena. And then, yeah, my first job in the kitchen was at this country club in Valencia. And I only started working there because before Le Cordon Bleu, I was at community college in Valencia. Took some culinary classes there. The chef instructor there was also the executive chef at that country club. And it was half a mile down the road. So he pretty much recruited all of his kids from the culinary classes to work for him. And I took a couple classes at the community college, and I was like, I'm going to transfer to Le Cordon Bleu. And he's like, you're a fucking idiot. Don't do that. And I was like, I'm not going to listen to you, man. I want to get a real education. Sorry. So I went to Le Cordon Bleu, paid a bunch of money, didn't really get an education. For my externship, I hollered at him, and I was like, hey, can I just work for you? And he's like, yeah. So went back there, worked for him for a little over a year. I didn't really learn anything, unfortunately.
Oh.
Yeah. It was they were mean and tough, cooks in the past were. where they like hazed everyone and did all that, and I was like, this is kind of weird. And then, but none of the food was that exciting. And it was like, I don't know why you guys all have egos if we're putting food out like this, you know? Whatever, it's fine.
Dang.
But yeah.
So I think an interesting story that everybody would probably like love to hear is how like Lhasa was born.
Oh yeah, beautiful story.
Like how you met, Chase and Chad.
Yeah, so Chad and I had first met when we were simultaneously living in San Francisco. I had relocated back in it was New Year's Day of 2013 was the day I moved up there. And I relocated up there to just cook and live up there and like get a change of scene, get a change of pace. And then amongst me like moving up there, my sister, who kind of had the same like social circle as Chad, was like, yo, you got to meet this dude Chad. Like, he's Filipino, he's a chef, he makes music. Like, you guys will totally get along. And for whatever reason, I just kept blowing it off. I was like, nah, that's cool. Like, there's a million of us,
He sounds weird.
Yeah, there's a fuck ton of Filipino chefs. Why do I need to meet this guy? And I just kept putting it off. Never did. And then I moved up there, and she was like, dude, you have to meet him. And I guess she was also hollering at him and like, yo, you should meet my little brother. And he too was like, nah, And then finally we were both like, whatever. And he ended up getting my number from my sister, and he texted me like, yo, your sis says I should meet you. Let's hang out. And I was like, sure. It was my one day off a week at this. So I'd moved to San Francisco without a job. And I ended up taking the first job that like hired me off my stage. That stage was crazy. That's another story. I'll tell you another time. But I'd been working 6 days a week. I was like one of 3 cooks at this restaurant. Crazy. But I was working 6 days a week and doubles every day. So literally like my first shift started at 9 a.m. and then work lunch until 3. We'd take a 15-minute break. And then prep for dinner starting at 5, and then would get out.
15-minute break.
Would get out by midnight, yeah.
Damn.
And then just like 6 days a week. So the one day off I had, Chad hit me up and was like, "Yeah, you want to hang out?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm down, but like honestly, it's my first day off in a minute. Like I'm trying to get some life shit." At the time, it was really sad. I had like a mattress on the floor. I had like all my shit around the room. I didn't even have a pillow. The only pillow I had was this like plush hamburger pillow that I had gotten at like, I don't fucking know, Spencer's Gifts or some shit, or Target. And it was literally like I was sleeping on this little hamburger that for like a few weeks, and I was like, I gotta get some life shit today. And he's like, I'll go with you. So he picks me up, and it's kind of awkward. It feels like a blind date, honestly.
Yeah. And
he picks me up, and I remember I like getting in his passenger seat. He was like, "Yo, what's up, man? I'm Chad." I was like, "Hey, I'm Nico." And it was the first like man date I've ever been on, And I was like, man, this is kind of awkward. And then he's like, "You smoke, man?" And I was like, "Yeah." And then we smoked some weed, and then like all the anxiousness, it just like faded away. And then he put some music on, and then we just like
vibe.
Yeah, completely. And then so that was when we met, and we became like, just being both from like Southern California, being both cooks, Filipino obviously too, like instant connections. And then the music side too. And then we kind of just became each other's like eating homies. So he'd hit me up any night he'd have off, and vice versa, and we'd try to like eat at a restaurant in the city. But in that first day, he was like, "What are you going to do with your career?" And I was like 2.5 years into it, and I didn't really have an answer. But when he asked me that, I was like, "What am I gonna do?" And I was like, "Oh, like everyone says, I'm gonna open my own restaurant." And he's like, "Cool, what type?" And I was like, "Fuck." I was like, "Some type of fusion." It's fucking 2013, like of course. He's like, "What are you gonna fuse?" And I was like, "Maybe French and Thai," just like fucking spitting shit out of my butt. And he's like, "That's cool." And he's like, "Yeah, I'm trying to elevate Filipino food with my brother." And I was like, "What?" And he's like, "Yeah, we have this concept called Lhasa. I came up here to work at this Spanish restaurant so I can get some like insight, some more knowledge on like Spanish food
Yeah.
and Spanish influence. So I can apply that to Lhasa. And I was like, from that instance, I was like fucking mind blown. Like I've never thought to do that. I've never heard anyone say that about our food or our culture or cuisine. And then like immediately I was like, dude, sign me up, you know? And so our relationship kind of grew. And then after a few months, I guess he got kind of trusting me and we would nerd out on some shit. He actually ended up moving back down to LA and he was like, I'm going to get serious about this Lhasa concept with my brother. We're going to start doing pop-ups. And he's like, do you want to be my sous chef? And I was like, fuck yeah, dude. Let's do it. So I stayed up in the Bay for a while longer, but we planned our first pop-up. And the way it went was like I was working at a new restaurant now 5 days a week, but still doing like 60 hours a week, you know? And so on my Friday night, which was technically Saturday night, I would get off of work at 12:30, jump in my car with my bag already packed and my knives and my like non-slips. I would drive to LA, slamming like a 5-hour energy, smoking a joint, and just blasting like metal, you know, like
Disturbed.
we had Disturbed like nonstop on repeat, just with the windows down. You know, it was like fucking 55 degrees out, but I was just like, stay awake, stay awake. Would floor it all the way to LA. Would get to LA around like 6:30, 7 in the morning. Excuse me. Nap for 2 hours. Wake up and prep, and then we'd have service at like 4 p.m. So that was like I did that for ongoing for a few months, but that was the first service was when I met Chase, and that one was like we just had our 10-year anniversary like 2 weeks ago. Feels like a really big accomplishment. It felt like I don't know. I think this is just the type of person I am too. That I was just like so committed from the day that Chad mentioned that to me that I was like, it felt like this was my project too, you know. So it felt like hitting this 10-year milestone was like, it felt crazy. But yeah, and then I got to know Chase, and Chase is like I call him Kuya because it started as Chad called him Kuya, but like it, you know, he truly feels like an older brother to me, and I don't have older brothers, so he kind of fits that role. Yeah, and then we started Lhasa all together. I would come down once to twice a month, and then when we started getting more serious, started getting residencies everywhere, I committed to moved back, and then just hit the ground running. Never stopped since. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's so rad. Yeah, what a good story.
Yeah, it was nice. I shared it on my Instagram post a couple weeks ago, but like it was really such a pivotal time in my young career. Because like I was telling you, like fucking French Thai fusion, what the fuck is that? You know what I mean? Like it has nothing to do with me. Like I can't even relate to that food. So in that time in my life, I had zero direction. I just knew that like San Francisco has good restaurants. I want to cook there. You know, like it's really all I fucking knew.
Yeah.
I was going day by day.
So were you already like had knowledge of Filipino cuisine, like cooking it before meeting the Valencia brothers, or did you start learning and getting more into it when you met Chad and like started like researching and stuff?
Well, growing up, I would say I grew up pretty, for lack of a better term, like whitewashed, I guess, you know. Filipino kid in the Valley, but not that I was like not without other Filipino kids. There was a shit ton in my school, but I didn't necessarily like relate to everyone.
Mm-hmm.
I was a little different. I was a skater. I listened to like punk. And I just didn't really relate to the other kids in my culture. So growing up, I was like not ashamed necessarily, but like it's not something that I like held so tightly to and like repped hard. But I always loved the culture. Like I'd always like, you know, help my mom in the kitchen making sinigang or adobo or kare kare or whatever. And so like all of those things, all of those types of comforting meals for me, I already knew. And it was more so I don't like to say like elevating or anything like that because that feels like dumbing down our food and our
Yeah.
culture, but it was just like looking at it in a different point of view and kind of approaching the techniques that we've learned in other kitchens to our like flavors
Hmm.
and kind of our techniques too, you know. So yeah, it was like, and at the time, like I mean, like Rich Table and fucking Noma and Staybird Provisions and all of these incredible restaurants were coming up and were bringing forth all these new and fun techniques, and it was just like a really wild time to introduce those techniques to our food
Hmm.
because it
Yeah.
feels like
Yeah.
it wasn't done yet, But yeah.
Dang. Yeah, I mean, when I started working at Lhasa 5 years ago, like I didn't really have a sense of direction and like what food I wanted to cook. I kind of just wanted to just cook
Yeah.
and just like, oh, I'm gonna work. Like I wanted to go to Copenhagen and like cook there, or like work at like cool restaurants. But like I was just doing it, I guess, to get experience and like learn cool stuff. But I didn't really like Filipino food was like completely an afterthought
Right.
for me. It was just like, oh, my mom will make adobo for me at home, and then I'll eat it because it's
Yeah.
mom.
Right.
And then we'll have like parties at my grandma's house, and then like those be like Filipino food everywhere. But I never thought about like cooking it
Right.
in an elevated way. And then when I was kind of like complacent of my like job, that I was like, I need to go like learn something like new that I haven't done before. And then I like saw Lhasa and culinary agents. I'm like, oh, sick Filipino restaurant. Like I've
That was
heard about.
honestly probably like the only culinary agents
Yeah,
ad we've ever
yeah.
posted.
And then I was like, I've like heard about you guys, and I was like, this is tight. And like, I don't have any Filipino friends like at all. Just
Yeah.
my family, and I didn't grow up with any like at all because I went to like a white school.
Right.
But and then I was like, that's sick. I'm gonna apply there. I'm gonna learn about Filipino food. And then immediately as I stepped into the kitchen for my stage, it felt like I was like at home with like all my cousins.
Hell yeah.
And I like and then like in that sense I was like, dude, I feel like at home. Like
Right.
cooking here is like you guys are like all my like kuyas.
Yeah.
Like everyone's helping each other out, and that's like what brought a new like culture change for me as like a cook,
Hmm.
like being in a restaurant. Like it just like everything I did before like went out the door, and like from like assholes to hazing people. Like I didn't haze anybody, but like I could be an asshole
Right.
sometimes. And like it just like my demeanor changed about how it is to like move in a kitchen when I
Right.
started working there, and it's like very felt like a family.
That's awesome. I'm happy that we could provide that type of place for people,
Yeah.
Like even like now as Lasita, like I often think about what we do for our culture, and it's cool as a Filipino American to have a place like Lasita. You know what I mean? That like is doing cool shit with our food, with our culture, and sorry.
Also, FYI, if you hear a baby cooing,
Yeah.
that's Sola. That's
Yes.
Nico's new baby.
That's our 6 month old as of
Yeah.
today. She's in the background.
So
She's our craft services today.
yeah.
Yeah, it just feels cool to provide that, like we didn't have that type of shit in LA or even SF when I was around there, And like I feel like if I had a Lasita as like a really young cook, I would have found direction sooner,
Yeah.
Or I would have been like more hyped to be Filipinos
Mhm.
sooner,
Yeah.
So it's really like cool to, I mean, you're also at that forefront too. Like it's cool to be able to provide this to people.
Yeah. 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 It's definitely been life changing for me. I mean, for sure. Like, I felt like I wasn't bouncing around a lot of places, but I was like, oh, I just want to be like a chef and like
Mhm.
just, I don't know, just cook. Do
Yeah.
whatever I want.
I feel
I
that.
guess that, I don't know.
Yeah, and for generations before us, I'm sure everyone felt it was the same shit. There wasn't a place that offered that for our culture, at least like in LA.
Mhm.
So as like as a Filipino cook or Southern California, as a Filipino cook, like all you could do was cook other people's food. So
Um, Sasha, she's reading this book about presidents and what they used or like what they ate in the White House, like all the presidents in our history.
that's awesome.
And Eisenhower had a Filipino chef.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know if she's currently still, but the executive chef from at least the Obama era.
Oh, okay.
So it's a Filipino.
Pretty sure.
Yeah.
Not.
Yeah.
Yeah. The last
Yeah,
guy.
the-
Yeah, definitely not.
Taco bowls and shit.
Yeah, but yeah, I thought that was cool.
That's wild.
Back then, yeah, I had Filipino chef.
Oh, Ike.
And then he got fired after when the next president came. I don't know if that was. I
Mm.
forgot who it was. Yeah, she told me that last night.
Wow, that's
Yeah,
crazy.
yeah.
I wonder if he cooked Filipino food for him.
That's what I'm wondering too. I'll have to ask her.
Yeah.
I don't see if she got how far she got in the chapter.
That's pretty wild, like
Yeah.
back then to
Yeah.
think that, you know?
Yeah, and then also my great grandpa was a cook for the Navy. The Philippines.
Really?
Yeah.
Philippines Navy or American Navy?
American Navy.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah.
Who else? I know Fred's one of our kitchen managers at the restaurant. I know Fred's dad was a chef for a hotel
That's cool.
when he first moved here. I think also someone in Reggie's, another cook. Reggie's lineage, I think, was also a Filipino chef somewhere.
And also
Yeah.
shout
Direct
out.
descendant, dude.
Yeah. So let's talk about how you came up with the concept for Lasita.
Okay.
Because I think it's very interesting, like going from Lhasa, which was a very like chef-driven, elevated Filipino menu, and into Lasita. Sorry,
It's fine. Happens. I do it
into
too.
Lasita, which is a it's elevated Filipino food, but like I would say in a more presentable way for like everybody.
Yeah,
And
accessible approach.
Yeah, it's accessible, approachable. It's
Yeah.
easy.
Familiar.
And we were like, you're kind of already playing with it, like at the end of like Lhasa,
Yeah.
Lasita.
So Chase and I had kind of been talking about this concept for a few years before it actually happened. We were talking about just other concepts to do with Filipino culture. We just honestly, like, Chase and I, we just like to fucking dream with each other. It's really silly. Like, we'll just throw stupid ideas at each other. Pre-colonial times, as we know, is another idea. But yeah, it's a concept that we've talked about where we wanted to focus more on like grilled and rotisserie items in our culture. At the time, rotisserie mostly was like the idea of presenting or focusing on cebuchon, which is Cebu's preparation of lechon, which is usually just primarily the belly, skin on, stuffed with lemongrass, ginger, onion, garlic, sometimes bay leaf and anise, cloves, and then like wrapped and then slow roasted. I'd argue it's like the kind of like most flavorful version of lechon.
It is.
Yeah. I feel like I can get like assassinated for saying stuff like that. But yeah, so it's like something that like I was kind of messing with when I was the CDC of Lhasa, my last like year and a half there, where I've been doing this preparation of lechon loosely, not really like kind of how we do it now. I've actually been messing with cebuchon for at least a decade. I put it on as a special like back in SF. My chef at Blue Plate, Sean Thomas, shout out. Blue Plate, shout out too. Going on like 27 years in San Francisco. Skater run, skater owned. Fucking sick place. But yeah, like back then my chef Sean was like, if you want to mess around, throw a special on, and I did like a cebuchon, and it's just been something I've always revisited. And I'm like, it's Filipino porchetta, it's like it's fancy,
Yeah.
And then the idea of like chicken in a sol happened because there's like where Kaylee's family is from, Bacolod, they are known for chicken and sol. Like that's, I don't know if that's like where it started. I also don't want to get assassinated for saying the wrong thing, but it's known for
So good.
it's known for that. Yeah. So Kaylee and I went there 2019, right before the pandemic, and we went to Bacolod for literally like 16 hours, maybe. Like it was like we flew in and flew out the same day. But we had like chicken and asal from like one of the main restaurants there, and it was delicious, like insanely delicious. You could taste the smoke. You could taste like the marinade. They use we have inasal butter. They use like margarine in the Philippines.
Yeah.
Margarine.
Yeah, margarine.
It's not margarine. It's margarine, right?
Margarine.
Anyways, they use that in the Philippines. We brush the chicken on it, so it's like it comes out like glistening red. And you eat it with chicken fat rice, and like it was that moment that it clicked, and I was like, that and the lechon together, like fucking game on, you know. And then also like I've been talking about it for years too. I have this insane affinity for Zanku chicken, which is a Lebanese rotisserie chicken restaurant, and it's phenomenal. They have like
they just opened a location at Long Beach.
Hell yeah.
It's by the traffic circle on Lakewood Boulevard.
Shout out Lakewood Boulevard. Excuse me. I think they have like maybe 30 locations now in Southern California, but yeah, I've had like an affinity for that for the last like fucking 25 years of my life. So it was like, how do I combine all of those loves together? And at the time, like that was like there was like a pre-concept, but then COVID happened. Lhasa as a business was kind of like not getting shaky, but it was getting harder to survive at that time. Pivoting to doing like takeout and these meal kits like everyone else was doing, and it just wasn't sustainable. So Chase was like, hey, like if you want to really give this concept a go, like let's just fuck around, come down for a couple months, we'll R&D it, we'll run it out the window really nonchalantly. And so that's what we did. Like I found this rotisserie on Craigslist, same one we're using right now, or on eBay, sorry. We were like, fuck it, let's try it. So we bought this rotisserie. I started R&Ding. I got our chicken recipe on the third try. I got our lechon recipe on the second try. But yeah, we had them all at like their final iterations, and we were like, hell yeah. And then we kind of just started building the menu around that. And it was like, I kept thinking like Zanku, like what's accessible, craveable, delicious, familiar. Especially at that time during COVID, we opened like pretty much the start of 2021, and like people didn't want meal kits. Like people were buying them to support their local restaurants and businesses and stuff, but people didn't really want that. Like you can only cook for yourself so much, regardless of how much of it is prepared already. And I felt like people wanted more familiar and like comforting foods. So these like bigger portions of protein alongside some rice and some pickles and some sauces and like making it fucking super delicious just felt like a no-brainer. So we started running it out the window, and within like the first few days we were like selling out. Yeah, it was crazy. Like it was crazy. It happened really fast, and we ran it like that for about 2 months, and then we committed to flipping the space. So we pretty much closed for I think like 3 weeks, flipped the space, did the interior, did the exterior, like reformatted the kitchen, hired some people and rehired some people, and just started creating this team and creating this like final kind of like deliverable product. And then yeah, that was kind of it, and it kind of just stuck. Yeah.
It's awesome.
Yeah, but from that iteration, it's even evolved.
Yeah, it's
Like
evolved a lot.
yeah, like I said, I keep saying Zanku because like we were counter service with the idea of like super like fine dining, fast casual.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? And it was a weird kind of space to be in, but I was like, this feels like what LA wants right now.
Yeah.
And at the time it was really what LA wanted. And then as we kind of kept going with dinner services, excuse me, we realized dinner was a little better than lunch, so we dropped our Sunday lunch, just focused on dinner.
Mhm.
And then as we kept just like dialing dinner in, we noticed like kind of the customers wanted a little more care at the table.
Mhm.
They didn't really want to stand up and order
Yeah.
at the counter, you know? So after a year and some change, we switched to kind of full table service now. So yeah, now it's like a fucking restaurant again.
Yeah, it's restaurant again.
Yeah.
Full circle.
Yeah, and we crank, and it's satisfying knowing that we are fucking busy.
Yeah, and it's tiny space still.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's
A
fun.
lot of
Like
growth too.
yeah, totally. I think like growth not just like as a business, but individually, we've all kind of, including like
Yeah.
people on the team, like you
Yeah.
know, people have had very pivotal moments of growth, and it's been really beautiful to not just like watch it firsthand, but kind of, you know, assist where I can or guide where I can and mentor if I'm able to. And yeah, it's been really fun.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy. It's already almost 2 years that I've been at Lasita.
Yeah. Crazy.
It doesn't feel like it.
Not
It
at
feels
all.
like a year still.
I know, really.
Yeah.
Yeah, and especially on the kitchen end, we're really fortunate to say like we have staff that's been back there for years, and that's fucking tight. You know what I mean? I'm so
Years.
years. And you know, at this point too, like you guys have cooked all this stuff more than I even have.
Yeah.
You know, you guys have prepped all this stuff more than I even have, and it's like it feels really gratifying knowing that like we have a team so down, so dedicated. And
Yeah.
I think it also speaks to how we run shit.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what I was saying earlier about, just how we all treat each other back there, and everyone's just like very supportive. So I feel like that's the reason why we've had a lot of the same stuff for such a long time. So we're doing the out in the field next week.
Yeah, we are. That was also, it kind of snuck up on us. We got asked by Sherry, who runs Tehachapi Grain Project. Shout out, thank you. She's a fan of ours. We did an event earlier this year with Ola, our friends, on the beautiful Wiser farm out in Malibu. And Sherry's been a fan since then. We won her hearts. So this Outstanding in the Field farm dinner on the Coleman family farm, which is a Coleman family or Filipino Americans based out in Ventura County. But I've been a fan of them for a long time. We've been sourcing from them for pretty much the last decade. But they're the ones hosting it, and Sherry thought of us immediately and hit me up and was like, "Hey, we kind of have to know like an ASAP, you know."
Mm-hmm.
And she gave me like a list of other chefs involved, and she was essentially like, "It's between you and these other people." And I was like, "I don't want to lose a slot to these other people."
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, "Yeah, we'll do it," before even like any planning or anything like that. But yeah, I'm excited. It's gonna be a lot of fun. We're gonna be cooking with very many talented chefs based out here in Southern California. Beautiful produce on a beautiful farm.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully the weather's nice.
I hope so too.
Yeah, but this time we're gonna be under like easy up cooking,
Oh, cool.
supposedly.
Yeah, that's cool.
We'll see.
I was
We'll see.
wearing like a hat and some sunglasses
Yeah.
and all that.
Yeah,
Hopefully it's not too hot.
yeah, we'll see.
Hopefully it doesn't rain. That's also like, because it rained yesterday. I'm like,
That's true.
so random.
I know.
Like,
Yeah, we'll
bored.
see. I don't really know too much about the weather up there. I know it's like a little cooler, but we'll see. I'm excited though. It's gonna be a lot of fun,
Yeah.
and I think our dish is gonna be really tasty too.
Yeah, it's very tasty.
Yeah.
I made a taco out of it.
Did you?
Yeah, it was bomb.
Out of the
Yeah.
ends?
Yeah. Well, there's like a little. I cut a piece too
Nice.
thin. And
Oh,
I
okay.
serve it, so I made it into a taco.
Delicious.
Yeah, it was very good.
I heard it sold out really fast too.
Yeah, too fast.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, we got like about we got two orders left.
Oh
And
no.
2 orders were already gone. And
Oh,
I was like, okay,
shit.
we're done.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's also really gratifying, when like your special does well.
Yeah. 100%.
But when it doesn't, it's also like, fuck.
Yeah.
What did I do?
What did I do wrong? So is there any plans for like Lasita future?
There are a lot of plans. I'm trying to see what I can talk about. Not that we've like signed an
It's
NDA.
funny.
or anything.
Yeah, it's funny. Like
Yeah.
every time I ask like someone, you have what their plans for the future is like, well, I'm under NDA right now, or like something else, or cannot disclose this information. I was like, hey, what can you disclose?
What's funny is like a couple years ago I'd signed an NDA for something that I was gonna be part of, and I was like, to be honest, I told a couple people, but like very like hush hush, and I was like fucking tight-lipped after that. I was like, I can't I'm gonna get fucking sued by these people. I don't have any money. There's an NDA, whatever. And the person that I had signed it for, which was like the person that was hiring me, was just fucking like blah 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 blah. And I was like, oh, don't we have an NDA? And then it's just like, and I was like,
the window.
well, okay, I guess we can talk about it. So I didn't sign an NDA this time, but we do have some projects, and I'm really excited for them. I'm not going to say anything too detailed, but there are more than one. They are near opposites of each other as far as like the concept and the size and all that. But they're still like representations of our food and our culture, and at this point, kind of the type of hospitality service we're known for and we provide. So yeah, these are just like little more moments of what Lasita is known for, or what we're going to be known for, I guess, too. Yeah, one of them is like really exciting, a little more intimate. The menu's like smaller and more dialed in. And then more chef driven too, like it's pretty much just going to be like a collection of specials, all the weird shit that we've done all together. Kind of more in that vein of like rotating every month type of shit, with the seasons. And the other one's like a bigger ode to LA, which I'm really excited about too. Timeline, who fucking knows? Restaurants are fickle, so we don't really know when they're gonna happen, but they're definitely in the works right now.
Cool.
Yeah. So definitely stay tuned for more. It's gonna be very exciting.
Follow Lasita.
Yeah,
follow us already. Or you didn't even know.
Lasita.
You even know.
I know. Should we
No
tell?
one knows what we're talking about.
I know. So we work at Lasita. I cook there sometimes. It's called Lasita. I already said that. It's a Filipino. There you go. Shout out. It's a Filipino American rotisserie wine bar restaurant.
Yeah.
We're located in Chinatown, California, Los Angeles, California.
Yeah. Natty wine.
Natty Wines.
Curated all by Chase. Valencia.
Curated by Chase Valencia. Incredible
Wine
palette. Wine Zaddy.
Yeah. Wine Zaddy.
Natty Zaddy.
Yeah,
That's what it was.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and then co-owned with I'm one of the owners. Chase is one of the owners, and then Steph Barros, who's Chase's life partner, is also one of the owners. And yeah, we throw a party every night, more or less.
Yeah,
it's fun.
yeah, it's fun.
Yeah,
It's easy.
it's easy for us in the back.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
For
also
diners
like
too, though.
yeah, exactly.
you're
It's
just
kind
gonna
of
have a good time.
yeah.
A lot of dates come.
You don't have to really think about the menu too much. It's like throw out a couple
Yeah.
things and you're good.
It's delicious.
Yeah. really craveable.
I eat it every single night.
I do
I
too.
don't get tired of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The chicken I've had
Yeah, I eat the chicken every day.
so fucking off.
Yeah.
Like, I have it hot, I have it cold, and
Yeah.
it slaps every time.
Yeah.
It's funny too. Everyone's like, "What's your favorite thing on the menu?" And like,
I say chicken.
they want to hear me say like one of the seasonal items. They want to hear me say something more like composed, and I'm always like, "It's the chicken."
Yeah, I say that too.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like just get the chicken. That's
Yeah.
it.
I'm as proud as that chicken. I'm as proud of that chicken as I am of Sola.
Yeah, I knew you were to say that.
Just kidding.
You can remember this.
I know, seriously, she's gonna have resent that fucking chicken. She's also allergic to chicken, so that makes it even worse. Sorry, babe. Yeah, I have some questions for you, if that's cool.
Oh, cool.
So I know you've asked this. And I mean, unless you have more for me.
I was gonna ask you what your favorite in the weed story is, but
Oh yeah. We'll
let's
get
say that.
to that. We'll get to
That's
that.
good. That's always the ending.
So Brennan, I know you've asked a handful of guests this, but I'm curious. What is your 3 or 5 year plan? Or where do you see yourself in 3 or 5 years?
I would eventually like to open a restaurant. That'd be pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
Something
French Thai
Sasha.
fusion.
Yeah, something with Sasha. Definitely like something small and easy.
Yeah.
Maybe a cafe. That's something I would like to do in Long
Like
Beach.
a day cafe?
Yeah, day cafe and then like a wine bar at night.
Fuck
kinda
yeah.
thingy. Something in Long Beach.
Yeah.
I want to stay home.
Hell yeah. Walk down the street to work.
Yeah, hopefully by the beach. That'd be pretty cool.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, that would be something. Or maybe if this podcast takes off, this could be
Ooh.
like a full-time job.
Yeah.
And then I don't know.
I guess I was kind of also that kind of prompted my next question, which was, if you weren't cooking professionally, what do you think you would be doing?
Maybe I'd still be making music.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, because I stopped making music the moment I
cook.
started cooking.
That's
'Cause I
like
had
me
no
too.
time. I
Yeah.
had more time to make music once I
Exactly.
started cooking all the time. Like you're saying, you were working doubles a lot.
Right.
Yeah, I was like, while I was going to school, I was like doing doubles like 5 days a week, and then going to school on my days off.
And then trying to do
full-time.
homework.
And I was like, my double was like 6 a.m. to like 10 p.m.
Fuck.
That shit was crazy for a while. Supermax, shout out.
There you go.
Um,
We only had the energy to do that when we were like in
yeah,
early.
that's when I was young.
Yeah.
I was like pounding Red Bulls all the time.
Yeah. Exactly. What a time.
Yeah. Wait, what did you
Make
ask?
music.
Yeah, make music.
Uh-huh.
And then or maybe I would go back into like fitness or something. Maybe I would have continued with MMA.
Oh yeah.
That'd be crazy, but probably not. No one wanted me to fight.
Did you want to fight?
Yeah, I did, but I
Yeah.
just had no support, to continue
that's everything.
fighting.
Yeah.
But maybe like fitness or something like that, personal
I
trainer.
can see that.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah, probably one of those things maybe. Yeah.
This is honestly, this is more or less what goes on in the Lasita kitchen.
Yeah.
The day to day.
Yeah, like tell them your question like we do, like would you rather
yeah.
it's not PG, but you can make it
No, of
PG.
course. No. I prefer to only do PG ones now.
Yeah. Yeah. Lasita is changing.
Exactly. The Lasita kitchens are a
Yeah.
different story.
Yeah.
Those would you rather's were
Yeah.
very different. But let's see.
The Sweden.
Yeah, so the last one. Zarek, we'll ask you.
Yeah.
We'll get you involved here. So, if you had to choose one for the rest of your life, would you rather choose spice? Wow.
You didn't finish. Come on. No.
Oh,
wait,
okay.
wait,
Hold on.
Wait.
I even said that wrong. Spicy, rather, not spice, because that spice is like
Yeah.
any other thing. Spicy or sweet? Wow.
But
Instantly.
also like it can't, like, think about, you can't have anything sweet. No more fruit, no more smoothies, no more soda,
Onions,
no onions.
grilled onions.
So everything you eat is spicy.
Nearly, yeah.
Like literally everything. All right.
All right. All right.
right.
I hear some doubt by your cousin.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow.
Wow.
That's dedication to the heat, to the max.
Put the whole
Ooh.
bottle of sriracha in
Hurt
there.
going in and out, huh?
El Chilito.
Oh yeah.
Jesus.
That's impressive.
That's spicy sauce. That's pretty spicy.
That
It's
is
like
impressive.
a more smoky, like
Yeah.
tapatio and thicker.
So
spicier.
good. I
It's
love that
delicious.
sauce.
Yeah.
Super good. I have a couple treats
Oh, cool.
that I'm gonna now
Dang.
present.
He's gonna
Yes,
get it.
please. Thank
Yeah.
you. Fetch them, please.
Go fetch them. Um,
Oh shit!
um,
So close to this thing.
yeah.
Scoot around it.
Oh, you
So-
got treats in here. Oh shit! I didn't see that
Yeah, I
coming.
distracted you earlier. I have my own props here
Oh dang! He's
You ready?
spinning it on me. Yeah. Oh.
for the
Nice.
guest audience. So we
Sick.
went to Island Pacific.
Nice. That's my spot.
We got a bunch of Filipino treats.
These are very good.
Let it fly. Thank you.
Dang. Milo.
I like that. You're inside.
Job, Zarek.
You're inside of me. Good throw. Nagarai nuts, adobo flavor. I think might be my favorite. I do also really like the garlic, but I also really like the butter. Butter is a sleeper. Clover chips. Chubby little Nico loved these. I would fill a bag before we got home usually. And then this is kind of Kay's choice, but
Yes.
onion and garlic shrimp chips. These are phenomenal.
Those are the OGs.
I also really love this packaging. This packaging and
It's
branding
very
is
70s.
fucking sick. I would own 3 shirts with that logo if I could. And then,
They're delicious. Oh yeah.
you like that? The strawberry is my preferred choice. We don't have to taste any of this now, but you're welcome to. I know you're full of other things.
These are your go-to Filipino snacks?
Not necessarily. These are just this is just like a collection of
Collection.
things I used to really indulge in.
I love these corn nuts.
Those are fantastic.
I
Great.
also like the adobo version too, even though it doesn't
Actually,
taste like
I don't
adobo. But they're
None of these really taste like
yeah,
they're supposed to.
but they're still incredibly delicious and full of MSG.
Full of MSG.
And, salt.
Yeah.
And you like when I was in the Philippines, oh my god, I had such a hard time like in the
Not
snack
eating 'em?
store. No, like I would just eat them all the time, and
Really?
like, I'm pretty sure I would have like got diabetes over there,
Ooh, yeah, I don't know.
and like I just kept. It was like I had an addiction problem. To,
Oh,
like,
no.
like it was so.
I mean, what else were you
It
gonna
was
do?
so bad, and this eating like lechon and rice all the time.
Oh my god, it sounds
was
like
disgusting.
you last year.
Yeah,
But I know both our hosts here and the man behind the camera are on a healthier tip right now. I
Yes.
applaud them.
yeah.
Brennan's training.
I'll drink this. It's nutritional
Is it?
energy drink.
What?
No, but it's not.
Oh, I was like, did I get the
but
right
no,
thing?
no, but it says that right there on the
Oh
bottom.
shit, it does. If you drink this, you'll play basketball like this guy.
Yeah.
You'll dunk
Um,
and you'll have
the
a.
chocolate flavored drink. It's just like freaking chocolate milk.
I like that. There's like that
It's delicious. Yeah.
effect. Derek, you want any of this? Derek, I called you Derek. I'm sorry.
Derek Zoolander.
Derek Zoolander. Derek, you want any of this?
Is Derek, you want some shrimp chips?
There you go.
He's allergic to shrimp.
Are you?
Yeah.
That's
These
what I
are
always say.
delicious. I love these.
Yeah,
shrimp
those are
chips.
great.
So while we crack open some snacks, it's always good.
Let's not-
It's always good to snack while you hear good stuff.
Yeah, I agree.
So why don't you tell us about your favorite in the weed story?
Um,
I'm sure you have
this
especially.
I do. This was really difficult because I do have some really good ones throughout my career as a cook. There's some really like funny ones that I'm not even like the main character, but I like was firsthand witness. But actually, when you were out of the kitchen a couple weeks ago, I was talking to all the other cooks about in the weed story how I was a little bit nervous about what I was going to talk about because like I feel like I have some really good ones and I just didn't really know which one to do. But I think I'm going to do this one. And if we have a second, I might even talk about the other one because it's just as good. So, would you like some?
Sure. Whoa.
5-second rule. Really quickly, Cracker Nuts. This is some voodoo. I don't know how the fuck they do this. Fully coated peanut in a shell.
Hollow.
Yeah.
And then sweet and inside.
Insane. I don't fucking know how they do this. Anyways, so one of my favorites. This is when I was cook. Are we allowed to say like chef names?
Yeah.
Okay. So this is. Got you. This is when I was a cook, a very young cook at the Hotel Bel Air. At the time, Chef Wolfgang Puck was contracted to run the fine dining restaurant and all of the in-room dining and all of that, whatever. He was like, it was his brand in there. So I was a part of the opening team for the official name of the restaurant was the Wolfgang Puck at Hotel Bel Air. So I was a part of their in-room dining / brunch team. My shift started at 8 a.m. Whatever. It was opening week of the hotel. Opening to guests after this huge like multi-year renovation, multi-million-dollar renovation. So it was a huge fucking deal. And we opened for brunch officially. And like I'm pretty green. I think I'm like a year and some change into cooking. Like I told you, like that first job I was actually 2 years into cooking, but the first two I wouldn't really even count them as like great jobs. But I thought I was all good and shit. I thought I was a decent line cook. Had all my fucking kitchen terms down on lock, you know? And I was one of the brunch cooks, and we were fucking slammed from the get. One of the pickups, which was our most popular, was this French omelet. Classic French omelet. Soft scramble, like no color. But the filling was roasted cipollini onions, chanterelle mushrooms, and then Gruyere cheese. And then the side, all the omelets came with a side of fingerling potatoes that have been like parboiled, peeled, split in half, and essentially like browned in a cast iron, or not a cast iron, in a steel pan. So all of those components, the omelet, the filling, and the potatoes were all done in 3 different pans, right?
Wow.
All in my station. Granted, it was like a fucking sick kitchen. I think I had like, I had like 8. I think I had 8 burners to myself. But regardless, like you get two omelets. They don't let you do anything. Like they don't let you sandbag, so you can't like get ahead on the filling. You can't get ahead on the potatoes, which is crazy. So I'm firing all these things to order. At one point, I have like, I think it was like 9 or 11 omelets on fire, amongst other shit.
Yeah.
You know, we had like a fucking fancy club sandwich. We had shit like it was crazy. Pastas, and at one point I had like 9 or 11 omelets on fire, just like in the fucking weeds. You know, like I just remember all of my confidence was fleeting so fast. Every time I hear a ticket, I was just like clenching my ass, just like no, don't call anything from my station. Like I can't fucking handle this. And then as I'm like in the deepest bottom well of the fucking weeds, or what I thought, who fucking strolls in the kitchen? Chef Wolfgang Puck. And he's just like all jolly and shit, and he's like, oh hey, like what's going on, you know? And I'm just like, oh hi chef. And he's like, oh, are you all right? And I'm like, and he's not like, this is Chef Wolfgang Puck. He's not, he doesn't run shit anymore.
Yeah.
He's at the fucking top, you know, like he has
a million
a million restaurants. He has a million chefs that work for him that like run his shit. He did live up the street, so he did pop in like very often, unannounced. But it usually wasn't anything. Like he would just like taste some shit and walk away. Slam like 5 espressos and fucking leave. But he like came onto my stage and was like, "Hey, chef," and I was like, "Hi, chef." Like just like I wasn't even starstruck because that's how in the weeds I was. I was like so fucked that I was just like, "Hi," you know. He's like, "Can I help you?" I was like, no, I think I'm good, chef. Thank you so much, though." And he's like, "No, let me help you." And so all of my mise en place is running the fuck out. Every time they put in another omelet, I'm like, I'm out of shit, you know? Yeah. And so, and mind you, these are things that, like, you can't just fucking grab and, like, chop up.
No.
These are pre-roasted tripollinis that have been peeled. These are, like, broken down chanterelles. These are fucking fingerlings that have been, like, boiled and peeled and halved. Like, you know, this is shit that, like, needs to be prepped. And I'm fucking out of all of it. And I'm just like, I don't even know what I'm going to do right now, you know? And he's like, "Let me help you." And I'm like, "Okay." And I like glance over to my CDC and he's just like, and I'm like, "Chef, it's fine. I got it." And he's like, no, let me help you." He's like, "What are we firing?" And I'm like, "I have 11 omelets on fire." And he's like, "Oh, okay." Grabs a couple pans, grabs a couple bowls, grabs a couple eggs, and just starts like, he just like cracks some eggs in the bowl and he's just like, "All right, like, where's your mise en place?" And I like open the drawer and it's like nearly empty, and I'm just like, "Fuck, dude." And he's like, "Okay," and he's like, he just grabs some cheese, throws it in the bowl with the eggs. I'm like, that is not how we make an omelet, you know? Like, and I'm not gonna coach Chef Wolfgang Puck on his fucking omelet, like, exactly. And I'm just like, and he's just like, "Oh yeah, you know, like, fucking put a little cheese on it or whatever," and he throws like this cheese, fucking, it was this Parmesan cheese and egg mixture into a pan, just starts scrambling it, makes a hard, like, American style omelet, puts it on a plate, puts it on the pass, and then just, like, cleans his hands and walks away. And I, like, turn to my CDC at the pass, and he's just like, "Well, fucking fired again," and just, like, you know, like, "You're still in the fucking weeds," like, and I'm just like, what the fuck was that? Like, what was that? What am I supposed to do right now? It was horrible. I think I might have, like, either I screamed in the walk-in or I shed a few tears. That was definitely, like, one of the worst days being a cook.
For some reason, like, like, in my head, it reminds me of, like, a South Park episode.
It felt like that.
They have, like, a celebrity in there and he's just like,
yeah, exactly. It felt like that, and it honestly felt like I was getting, like, trolled or punked, you know, like,
yeah, it's not
dude,
actually
seriously. What was that? I know, seriously, like, the fucking camera comes out of the walk-in or some shit. It felt like that. Like, I was like, there's no way that this is a real situation. That was okay. I think that was my best in the weed story. 5 minutes. I could bang this out in 5 minutes. So this other one. So I was working at this incredible restaurant called Commonwealth in San Francisco. At the time, this was in 2013. I don't want to say it was the height of molecular gastronomy, but it was, like, pretty prevalent in that era. This restaurant was extremely farm to table, extremely micro seasonal, run by these incredible chefs and restaurateurs that were in the same, like, restaurant group as, like, Mission Chinese. Like, it was during that time. And it was one of the first, like, truly casual fine dining restaurants that I've set foot in, where we were in the middle of the Mission in San Francisco. Like, it was still a little bit seedy, you know, and on the block, like, there was still, like, shit that was going down, but we had these really incredible dishes, and one of them was this lamb tartare. The pickup is, like, you get a lamb tartare, and immediately it's like this lamb tartare that was served with this, like, eucalyptus and other aromatic, like, broth. But this broth was made instantaneously in a coffee siphon. So we had these, like, broth kits that had, like, eucalyptus and bay leaf and, like, black cardamom and all these fucking, like, spices and aromatics. And you loaded it into this coffee siphon, made sure there was like water in the bottom. You turned on your fucking like burner, and then like the siphon, it would, like brew the fucking broth and then would cool down and drop. And while you did all that, or while it was like percolating, I guess, you build your tartare, and then you pour this broth over it, and then you sell it, right? So it's about a, I don't know, 6-minute pickup.
Yeah.
And so I was like in the weeds, fucking flustered, because at the time I was on Garmo. Garmo picked up, we had a 5-course tasting menu. Garmo picked up 3 of those dishes, plus an a la carte menu.
Damn.
And we picked another 5 of those dishes up. 7, including dessert. So it was like a gnarly station.
Yeah.
Nearly everything was prepped from scratch day to day. That's when I was working like 60-hour weeks. Like I was there. At the time, it was normal to be unpaid.
Yeah.
For an extended period of time. So, anyways, I was in the weeds and I was like going down. They fired a lamb tartare, and I fucking build the tartare and I put it up, and I'm just like, chef, and he's just like, where the fuck's the broth? And I'm just like, fuck. And I turn around and there's just like the kit in there. It didn't percolate and didn't do anything. It's just like sitting there in the fucking siphon, and I'm just like, no. And he's just yelling at me like, I fucking need it now. I need it now. I need it now. And I'm like, yes, chef, yes, chef. And I'm like trying to get this burner on, and I'm like kind of shaking because I'm so frustrated with myself. And my homie, Daniel, shout out, is trying to get my back. He's like, what you need, man? He like, I have like 4 other things fired. He comes over from his station. He's like, what you need, man? I'm like, I just fucking need that broth like right now. And he's like, I got you. And he grabs a butane torch. And he's like, let's just fucking rip it, And so he rips it like alongside the little burner that's percolating the thing, and he just like is blasting this bottom piece where like the coffee, it would be coffee or the broth like sits in the bottom bulb. He's just like, psh, and it's like starting to suck up, and I'm just like, yes, we need it. Okay. Yeah, and it's starting to drop back down, and he fucking got it too hot, and it shatters. Shit. And it's like 8:15, the fucking busiest station on it was a Friday night, just like. There's fucking glass and broth and shit all over my station. My chef is pissed, like throwing shit. I'm getting yelled at. That's my other in the beat story. Yeah. Hope I made it within 5 minutes. Yeah.
Well, that sucks. I'm glad you don't work anywhere like that anymore.
Yeah.
I'm glad I don't either.
Same.
Well, it was a pleasure to have you here.
It was a pleasure to be on this. I really appreciate it.
See you tomorrow.
You will see me tomorrow. Thank you so much.
That's your Linecheck for today.